Hello beautiful people, you are welcome to my channel. I'm Gift God's Time by name if you're stopping by for the first time, and to all my returning subscribers, thank you for your support. On today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to achieve this beautiful dress for kids at the age of 5, or you can even do less than that. So I have so many detailed tutorial on how to achieve board dress on my channel, but today I'm going to be detailed more on the mini bows you see at the sleeve parts. Kindly stay tuned. For this project, I'll be using 8 yards of 2 nets, and then I'll be using 1.5 yards of Mikado fabric. I'll be using crinoline for the Mikado, and lastly I will be using 1/2 inch ribbon. It's a satin ribbon. So let's proceed to the cutting of the skirt part. I'm going to take my Mikado fabric and I'll be folding it into 2, and I'll fold it again. I'm cutting a full circle flea, which I already have the tutorials on my channel. There are several of them. So after folding the Mikado fabric into 4, this is how it looks like. So these 2 parts are folded. So I'm going to take my radius from that top part. Now the waist I'm working with is 22 inches. So 22 divided by 6.28, which is 3.5. But because I want the waistline to have gathers, I'm going to be marking 11 inches for my radius. I want it extremely wide because I'm going to be doing the gather effect on that waist. Next, I'll determine how long I want this outfit, the dress, to be. I want it at the knee length, so I'm going to be measuring from that 11 inches mark. I'll be marking 17 inches all through from one end to till I get to the other end. So that is what I'm marking, 17 inches. This outfit is for a 5-year-old child. So if you are working with a child less than that, you take the child's measurements, or if you are working with a child above that, also do take the measurement. And you have to note that your yardage will be more than 1.5, because I'm using 1.5 of Mikado fabric. So after doing that, I'm going to cut off those marked points. So now we have a full circle flea. Next, what I'll be doing, I'll fold it in such a way that I'll divide only one of the folded parts, because this part will serve as the zipper line, and also it will aid me in having the gathers. So after doing that, the hem part, I'm going to use my crinoline to turn it over just to give it that wavy effect. That's why I'm using the crinoline for it. So I'm going to take the crinoline to my sewing machine. Now this is the right part of the Mikado fabric, so I'm sewing on the crinoline on the right part. After sewing all through, I'm going to flip it over to the wrong part. So cutting to the end of it, I'm just going to cut the remaining crinoline and then flip it over to the wrong part and make sure that it's balanced properly. After that, I'm going to sew it now till I get to the end as well. While sewing, just be mindful of the crinoline because it's that fragile, so just be careful with it. So I'm done attaching it, and this is how the back and the front part looks like. Now for the waist region, I'm going to use my threaded needle to have a gathered stitch. So I'm going to leave 1 inch for the zipper part. That's what I did. So I'm going to start my gathers away from that 1 inch, and I'll gather till I get to the end of the other side, and I will also leave 1 inch as well. You can use your machine to have that gathered effect. I just prefer this thread and needle. So this is the for the Mikado. Now we'll move to the tulle nets. So I'm going to keep this aside. Now for the two net, like I said earlier, it's 8 yards. So for the Mikado, I use 17 inches in length. For the two net, because I don't want it to come outside, I'm going to be using 2 inches shorter than it. So I'll be using 15 inches. So I've cut 3 of them. They are all 8 yards in yardage, but in length 15 inches. So the same thing I did for the Mikado. I left 1 inch for the zipper. I'm also going to leave 1 inch for the zipper, and I will gather the whole 8 yards till I get to the end. So I'm going to do it for the 3 of them. That is for the two net, and I'll keep it aside. So I have a well detailed tutorial on my channel on how to draft bodies for kids. So the CF represents the front bodies, the CB represent the back bodies, the C is the center front unfold, and the CB is the center back unfold. Now from the front bodies, we are going to be making some alteration. From the armhole, I came to the middle part, I marked it. Then I'm going to be using 2 inches downwards from the neckline. So I'm going to curve that 2 inches to the armhole, the midpoint of the armhole. This is to give me the yoke effect, a sweetheart neckline, that effect. So that is what I'm creating. So I'm going to be cutting this off. So this is how my pattern is, and I'm going to cut it on my fabric. So now the yoke part, I cut it on a 2 net, that is skin color net. I cut 2 of it. As you can see, there are 2 because I'll be turning it over. I'll be turning the neckline with the 2 nets over, so it give me that neat finishing. While for the lower part is cut on fold on my damask fabric. So this is it when it's opened up. As you can see, the sweetheart neckline. So that is the back part. So I've gone ahead to stitch it at the neckline and also at the armhole region. Next, I'm going to flip it over to the right part, and I'm going to press iron it so that it lay flat. I will also attach it to the down part of the front body. So I'm just going to follow that neckline, that sweetheart neckline, and then connect it by sewing it. So I'm done sewing it. This is how it looks like. So you're going to be seeing the rough part over there. So what you do, you take your lining of the down part of the front bodies. So you take your lining and then sew. That is front part of the lining facing the front part. You're just going to sew at that sweetheart neckline to cover up that rough stitches. After sewing, this is how it looks like. So this is the front part and this is the lining part. As you can see, is neat. There is no rough edge. The rough edge is enclosed inside. So this is how it is. Next, I'll be attaching my back piece to it. So I'm going to attach it by the sides using my seam allowance, which is 1 inch. I'll attach the 2 of them at the sides. I'm also going to take the lining part too as well to attach the lining too at the sides of the front. So the same way I did for the main fabric, I'm also going to do for the lining as well. So after sewing it, this is what it's going to look like. So it's attached at the side. The front piece are all attached at the sides. So what is left is the shoulder part. So what I'll be doing, I'll be taking my lining for the back and I'll be sewing the neckline region. Now when I'm sewing the neckline region, I'm going to leave 1 inch away for the zipper parts. I'm not going to start from that part. I'm going to leave 1 inch and then sew till I get to the other end of the shoulder. So after doing it, this is how it is. So this is the 1 inch I left. So next I'm going to flip it over. So this is how it is. Now I'll be attaching my shoulder to it. So I'm going to place front side facing the front side of the back and the front. Then I'll be using my lining to flip it over so that I have a good finishing at the shoulder. By the time I'm done sewing it, the shoulder seam is going to be enclosed. So this is it. This is what I mean. So this is how it looks like on the front part and on the right part. the shoulder is enclosed, the sewing, the stitch is inside. So we are done with the bodice. Now we'll move to the puff sleeve. Now this is a basic sleeve pattern. This is the front part and the back part. I have a detailed tutorial on how to draft a sleeve, and also this puff sleeve, I've done that. So I'm just going to rush through it. So at the midpoint, I'm going to draw a straight line. Next, I'm just going to mark all the points with 1 inch, because I'm going to be slashing the sleeve, because I want it to have gather. So I'll be gathering both the down and the up. So after marking those points, spacing it with 1 inch, I'm going to draw a straight rule the same way I did for the center part. Next, I'm going to just number it so that I know how to place it properly. So I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut all of them off. I'll be spreading it to give me that volume effect. So after doing this, I'm going to take my fabric and place it. Next, I'm going to take those numbers and start placing it. They are going to be on the same line. So I'm just going to take my number 1 and place it on the fabric. So that's what I'm doing. Take this number 1. Then next, I'm going to space it with 1 inch and then place my number 2. Depending on how much fabric you have, you can go as much as 2 inch, 3 inch, depending on how much fabric you have. But I don't have that much, so I'm just using 1 inch for the spacing. Use your pin to attach it so that it doesn't flip over, just like the way you see this flipping over. This is just an illustration. I used pin for mine. So you use pin to attach it so that it stays one place. So this is how your sleeve will be. So I'll go ahead to cut it. After cutting it, this is how it looks like. So I also added heart net to it to make the puff sleeve more puffy. So now for the lining part, you're not going to do that slash and spread effect. You're going to cut exactly the same way your pattern is, because you're going to be gathering this Mikado fabric on the lining. So the effect will be on the Mikado fabric, not the lining. The lining gives the sleeve the shape of the sleeve you want it to be. So I'm going to gather the down part first. I'm going to gather it and then attach it to the lining. So let me explain again. So this is the Mikado fabric with the hard net behind. Now I'm going to gather the hem part, that is front side facing front side. I'm going to gather it to the lining. After sewing it, this is how it's going to look like. This is it. So I'm done attaching the hem part. Now I'm going to sew the side seam using the allowance I gave. I'm going to flip it over, as you can see, and then sew it. That is the main fabric with the main fabric, the lining with the lining. This is to give it an enclosed seam, because you know it's for kids who are sewing it and you don't want anything itching them. So their skin is sensitive, so all stitches must be enclosed. Now I'm going to align the seam together, the lining and the main fabric, and then I'm going to gather the upper part. So by the time you are through gathering it, this is how it's going to look like. So the sleeve itself, the whole part is enclosed with the lining, so there is no rough edges, no rough seam poking out from anywhere. So this is how it looks like a Minnie Mouse puff sleeve. So I'm going to be attaching it to the bodies we have done. So I'll be attaching the sleeve to it from the seam part. I'm going to attach it to the seam part of the bodice, and then this is how it looks like. So this is it on. Now for the place you attach it, you can use your bias strip to just pipe round it so that it's not rough. Next, I'll be attaching my skirt part to the bodies. The first one, I'm going to be using the Mikado flay, which we gather. So I'll attach it to the bodies. So this is how it is. Now I'm not attaching it to the lining. I'm not joining the lining. The lining on is separate. Next, I'm going to take the tulle net and then attach it to beneath the main fabric, the flay. So this is how it is. You could see the full effect. It's giving that ball shape effect already. After doing that, I'll be attaching my zipper to it. Now I'm excluding my lining part. So I'm done attaching the zipper to it, and this is how it is. Now I cut a flay for the lining. I'll be attaching it to the lining of the bodice. So this is how it looks like. I have attached the lining skirt part to the lining bodice and then enclosed the zipper region. I have also gone ahead to use my satin to attach to conceal the crinoline so that it doesn't itch the child. So this is the inner part where the child's body will be. It's so neat. So next I'm going to proceed to the making of the mini bows. The beautiful thing about this is that I saw it on Instagram. So all you need is this kind of charger, a half-inch ribbon and a picker. So you're going to wrap the ribbon around the charger as you can see me doing it on the video. So after wrapping it, now this part you've wrapped, the IG didn't explain it. I only watched it. So me explaining it is a plus for you. You're going to insert it into that part you've wrapped. So after you're going to bring it out. Now you're going to add your picker into that channel. You're going to bring your picker out on this other side. Just watch the video and try to understand what I'm explaining. Next, this part, you're going to make sure that the picker grabs it. So once the picker grabs it, you're going to pull it till you get to the other end. By the time you pull it out, your bow is 80% ready. Now, you are going to adjust the bow. You're going to tighten it. That's why you need this small mouth charger. You just need this type of charger. You're going to tighten it and adjust the bow so that it's centralized. After getting the right shape, you're going to bring it out and your bow is ready. So cute, right? So that is how I got those mini bows. You don't have to buy everything. There are some things you can just do yourself. So this is how the bow looks like. Now they do sell all this applique in the market, but you must not buy everything. You can do it yourself. As long as you can sew, you can be creative. So I'm just going to repeat it again. You're going to wrap the ribbon around the charger head and then insert it inside and bring it on the other part. This is how it is. Then you're going to take your picker now and then insert it. Don't worry, when you are doing it, when you are practicalizing it, you will understand and you will see clearly. You're going to put your picker there and then that one standing there, that's ribbon standing outside. You're going to make sure that the picker grabs it. So once the picker grabs it, you're going to pull it to the you're going to pull it out where you inserted your picker. So you're just going to pull it to the other end and your bow is literally ready. So after pulling it, I'm just using my hands to pull the remaining parts. Next, you're going to tighten it so that the bow is firm, it's tight, and then I'm going to be adjusting it as well so that it's centralized. The knot is centralized at the center. After that, I'm going to bring it out and here we go. We have our cute mini bow. So you are going to cut it depending on how long you want it to be. Because I want it small, so I'm just cutting it to this length. After getting the amounts you want, now because this is a satin ribbon and you don't want the part you cut to frail up, you're going to use your lighter to just burn the edges as you can see me doing, so that that part you cut does not frail up and then the whole thing is losing. So after doing that, you're going to do so many because you're attaching it to the sleeve. So this is how much I'm putting on one part of the sleeve. So I'm going to make many because I'll be putting it on the two parts of the sleeve. I'll be using my thread and needle to attach it, which I have done black thread. That is what I did. So this is the whole outfit and we've come to the end of this tutorial. Please, if you've watched to this extent, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and also do not forget to subscribe to my channel if you are yet to. So I'm thanking you in advance for liking the video and for subscribing. See you in my next tutorial. Bye.